Oh my god, long time no see. We are gonna do my December reading wrap up, and I realize, it is late in January, but I had some difficulties with my traveling, getting home from Europe. We were stuck in Schiphol in Amsterdam for 4 days, and when I got home, I was so behind on some other deadlines, not only with here, like on YouTube, on my main channel, but also with my own beauty brand, Singe, which is actually what I'm wearing today. I will leave that video down below. As you're seeing this, we are about to launch our first collection of 2026, which is going to be this eyeshadow palette and a bunch of new blushes. If you're interested in makeup, I definitely suggest checking that one out. I will leave that down in the description box. So yeah, I've just been busy with a lot of things, and honestly, I haven't been reading that much either because I've been doing so many other things. It's just been all over the place, and I've been hanging out with friends. I have a friend coming visiting me today. So January has just been different. That's why I'm a little bit behind on this reading wrap up, but I thought I'd still do it. I thought I'd still come in and do. Oh, and I chopped my hair off. If you're not following me on Instagram or on my other YouTube channel, you might not know that, but I did chop off my hair. I'm very excited about it. And if you want to see more of like book content, because I do upload as it's happening on my Instagram stories about books, and also of course on Goodreads, I will leave both of that down below in case you want to keep up. But I do want to talk about the books that I read in December, because I did read 9 different books in December. And December was not a great reading month for me. I had some books where I was like, no. I think I had 6 books on my TBR, and I did read all 6 of those. I can tell you already though that for January I will not read all the books on my TBR, because like I said, I'm a little bit behind on reading, but like I'm reading because it's fun. And if I feel like doing other things, I'm gonna be doing other things. I'm not gonna force myself to read. That makes no sense. But I did read 9 different books. I read 3,534 pages, which is not a lot for 9 different books. Some of these books were a little bit on the thinner side, which again, just trying to have a good time. But this is where you see this wasn't a great reading month, because my average rating was 3.3. That's not great. So I did have 6 books on my TBR, but I also did say I was going to read another book that was Christmas adjacent, and I was like, I'm going to read this as well. So technically I read 7 books that I said I was going to read that were on my TBR, and then I just read 2 books. And one of them, really funny story, we're going to get to that, but when I show you which one I mood read, you're going to be like, girl. I basically was choosing between 2 different books when I was doing my TBR, and I ended up reading both of them. I mean, good for me. So technically, I did read 8 physical books and 1 on my Kindle or on audiobooks. But I will say, I do own, at this point, all 9 of them as physical books, because one of them I actually did end up buying, because I realized I had all other books in the series in physical books. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna have a full series, and I bought the last book on a physical book as well. So I do have all 9 books here with me today, and I'm excited to be reading through some of my physical book, even though technically I did buy one of them. But I did read 8 physical books on my TBR this month, and I am really excited about that. So the genres that I was reading, this was a little bit more of a toss-up than it usually is for me, because it was 4 fantasy, 1 paranormal romance, 1 young adult fantasy, 1 dystopian. Listen, it's the return of dystopian, I'm excited, and then 2 contemporary romance. It's just a little bit of a different vibe. So far in January, I've already read a sci-fi as well, so I'm excited about that too. But here we come to the ratings. So I gave 0 books a 5-star. I did not find any 5-star books, but I did find one that I technically think is a 4.5. It's a great book. So I gave 4 stars to 6 books, 3 star to 1 book, 2 star to 1 book, and then I gave 1 book a 1 star, and I have never been that close to DNFing a book. Twice I literally, I closed the book and I was like, I think it's time. I think this is where I give up on this book. But I did finish it, and because I was thinking, what if it changes? What if it gets better? It did not. It did not get better. It was just a really, according to me, bad book. I disliked every second of it. Every second of the book I disliked. So let's talk about it. Let's actually start with the contemporary romances that I read, because I did read Love Light Farm by B.K. Borison. I'm pretty sure that this is my first B.K. Borison book, and this is a contemporary romance. I gave this one a 4-star. I had a great time, and I have realized that I like this trope a lot, where it's like friends going into lovers, or like they have been pining for each other but nobody dares to take the step because they're such good friends. I like that trope a lot, and I want to read more of that, and I really enjoy this. There were some parts of this book that was like a little bit like, that's not relatable or like even remotely believable, but I liked it. I thought it was cute, I thought it was fun, and I also really liked how this book incorporated characters that I fully realized probably the second and the third book was going to be about. So I want to pick up the second book in this. I'm really excited. I like it. And I think a lot of people really like BK Borusan. And I've seen some people review books by BK Borusan saying, this isn't an author for me, but clearly it is an author for me. So I want to read more of this author. Is this my first book of them? I might have read one before, but if I did enjoy that one as well. So I am ready to read more of this author. I'm invested. I really liked it. So this is, again, two best friends that have been friends for forever, since, like, I want to say young adulthood. And they have both been pining after each other. Nobody wants to take the step because they don't want to ruin the friendship. She owns a Christmas tree farm that is failing, and she enters her farm into a social media competition, which was really fun because I've been working with social media for such a long time. And she enters it into this competition to be able to get featured on this social media stars account. But in order to make her story a little bit more spicy so that she has a chance to get this feature, she says she started the farm with her boyfriend, which isn't true because she doesn't have a boyfriend. So she asks her friend, could you pretend to be my boyfriend for this feature? And fake dating, I mean, I'm all about, I love fake dating as well. Like, I'm all about this. I thought it was super cute. The only thing that didn't make this a 5-star for me is at the end of the book, the guy makes a comment to his guy friend that is just like, my dude. Not a single man alive has ever uttered these words. And I was like, the author, did you ask any man? Any man if this is probable? Because these men, what he said at the end, like, it is so unrealistic that it became laughable. I literally rolled my eyes when I read it. If you've read the books, you might know what it is. But that's the only part where I'm like, okay, you didn't have to take it that far. Okay, calm down. So I did like the book, but there was one element at the end that made it a 4-star and not a 5-star. But I really enjoyed this one. I thought it was great. I heard some people not liking it, but I did. I thought it was cute. I loved it. And then we have one of my favorite authors when it comes to spicy. This one has a little bit of smut, but it's very low. Honestly, it's very low. This one is spicier. This is Paisley Hope's Freeing the Wild. This is the 4th part in a 5-part series about this. I say that this is contemporary romance. This could technically, probably you see this be like a cowboy romance. It is set in a small town that is circling around the ranch. In this book, technically this could be a cowboy romance because the guy in here, he is a foreman at a ranch, and this whole series is circling around this ranch. It's a Silver Pines, close. And this is the foreman at the Silver Pines ranch, and it is a country star that comes here because her sister is one of the main characters in another book, and now it's the main character's sister comes here, and she needs a break because she has had a very traumatic event happen to her, and she is having panic attacks. So again, we have definitely that represented in this book. She's very much dealing with anxiety and panic attacks. And in the beginning of this book, she comes to visit her sister. She has a one-night stand with this foreman of the ranch. He doesn't know that she's the sister of the girl that lives at the ranch, and he never sees her again. But then she comes back after dealing with her panic attacks to rest, and things just happen. I really like this book. I love how Paisley Hope writes feelings and pining, and she really makes you believe that these people are falling for each other. She makes you believe in their intentions, and all of the way that they act, the way what they say and how they feel feels very realistic. So you feel like you're with them, okay? You're with them and you're feeling these feelings and you just believe in the love story. The only reason why I am yet to give any of the Paisley Hope books a 5-star, and maybe I should reevaluate this, is because they are very spicy. Yeah, listen, I'm clearly not against reading some spice. I do actually enjoy spice in books, but I do think that sometimes with Paisley Hope, it's maybe 1 or 2 times too many. I mean, maybe that's not what she said, but I'm just saying right now, if you're not into spicy books, Paisley Hope will probably not be for you. I would choose another author, but I still really enjoyed it. I think it's really great. I just kind of almost wish sometimes we would have even more of the pining and less of the actual smut, because I think she's so good at writing feelings. Still did enjoy it though. I thought it was a really, really good book. And did I even say why I didn't technically put this as a cowboy romance? And it's because basically nothing in this book is around being a cowboy. So even though he's technically a cowboy, that's not what this book is about. None of that is really in this book, so that's why I'm like, it's more a contemporary romance. So this is the paranormal romance, and I finally did read Soul Searching by Lila Sage. I love Lila Sage. I loved this book. It is such a great book. I gave this one a 4-star. The only reason why I didn't give it even more is because I have a very hard time. This is something that I've realized. I have a really hard time enjoying and kind of feeling wrapped into more like paranormal things, or even like realistic magic realism, you know, magic and ghosts and all of that is happening in our world. Because I personally don't believe in anything supernatural. I'm an atheist. I don't believe in anything supernatural. I don't believe in anything above like what we see right now. That is just how I feel. I would never shame anyone for believing something that I don't believe, but I also hope that nobody will shame me for not believing something they believe. You do you and I do me, but it's also one of the reasons why sometimes I have a hard time getting into those books, because for me, it just doesn't feel, it's just not aligning. Fantasy is something different because it's a different world. Everything is different. I don't have to be connecting to any of it, but this is paranormal. So this is a girl, she's coming back to her hometown, and she says she's there to help her parents with their antique shop, but actually she lost her job and she's just not doing the best overall in her life, and she just needs a break, but she doesn't tell anyone about that because she's kind of proud. She rents an apartment above his workshop. He is a reupholsterer, I think that's what he's doing. And of course the thing is that she can talk to ghosts, and so can her sister, which I'm pretty sure the next book is going to be about her sister. I did enjoy this book. I thought the romance was really good. Again, it was smut, but not too much. It was just enough to actually believe that they're kind of like liking each other. But I'm having a hard time getting into that. I still will be reading the series. I gave it a 4-star, but it's just like, you know, are you or are you not connecting with the series? Because that's what I feel like a 5-star. A 5-star is a feeling. 4-star is a great book. 3-star is a good book. 4-star is a great book. 5-star is a book that you keep thinking about. A book that like you keep thinking about it. You can't like get it out of your head. Like the books that I've given a 5-star, I still think about them on a weekly basis. Like these are books that stay with you. I don't think that this will be a book that stays with me. Now we're gonna get into, do I have the fantasy here? Should we start with the dystopian then? Okay, let's do the dystopian. Let's actually just quickly talk about, because when I was doing my TBR jar picks, I love doing those, but I was saying I was going to read a dark romance, and I was picking between Us Dark Few and The Secrets of Jane, the first book, which is called Forgotten. So I picked Us Dark Few, but then I ended up reading this one too. So I actually read both of these books this month. So Us Dark Few is actually my favorite book of this month. Technically, I would say this is a 4.5 star. I think the only reason why this isn't a 5-star is because it's too thin. I actually think that this book would have benefited from even more. You know, sometimes I think books are too long-winded. I'm like, just, can we get on with the plot? Like, please and thank you. With this one, I actually wouldn't have minded if some of these things took a little longer. I just felt like some of these things happened too quickly and too easily, but dang, this is entertaining. Oh, this is so entertaining. I don't own the second part, but I definitely need to get it. This book has been picked up and it's gonna be trad pubbed. The third book is coming out soon as well. So Us Dark Few, and what is the second book called? I'm not 100% sure, but I will definitely pick that up. This is by Alexis, right? Alexis Patton. I did meet her at the Romantic Book Con. Absolutely wonderful. I bought the first one. I'm very excited about reading the second one. This one ended in a way where it's not necessarily a cliffhanger, but there is no way that you cannot continue the series. I am truly enjoying the plot of the series. This is, again, dystopian. This is after a big nuclear war. All of humanity has been forced to move underground, live underground, because the top is radioactive, but the rich people live in a dome at the surface, so they're able to still enjoy the sunshine, but of course they have to live under the dome. The poor people, you know, the peasants, they're living underground in just like squalor, and she gets thrown in jail for something she doesn't really do in the beginning of this book, and this is taking place in jail, and there is of course a love story between her and the captain of the guards, and this is enemies to lovers. This is a true enemies to lovers, and I'm really enjoying the plot of this book. The plot is really good. I'm enjoying the side characters of this book, and I'm very excited to see where this is going because dang, yeah, there is a good plot in here, and I cannot wait to see where this is going. So let's talk about actually then the fantasy book, the other fantasy book that I also read, which is then The Secrets of Jane. This is, I'm pretty sure I gave this one a 3-star. This is very smut driven, and this is not even, do you know, sometimes you're like, oh, is it plot driven or is it romance driven? This is lust driven. I don't know if there's a lot of love. I don't believe the love. I believe the lust. And the lust is written in from the beginning all the way through the book. And when I actually looked at this one, not necessarily on Audible, because I did actually read some of it and I did listen to some of it on Audible because I had some credits. This one is on Audible. It is in the category of erotica. That is all you need to know about this book. I don't mind the plot. I don't even mind how the smut is written, but this is dark romantasy leaning into erotica territory. So if you do not like smut, you will not do not pick this book up. I'm just saying, do not pick this book up. If you're looking for something that is more lust driven, if you're like, that's a good palate cleanse for me, or that is what I enjoy reading, definitely check this one out. It's a finished duology. I do have the second book as well, and it is available on Audible. And I will also say the actors doing the Audible version are very talented, and it's a good audiobook as well if that's something you're looking for. This is kind of like romantasy meets piracy. It's very, the plot isn't bad, and that's also why I gave it a 3-star, because the plot isn't bad. She has escaped from this pirate town trying to live in secrecy, and she gets found out, and this book is basically about everyone, like who can you trust, who can you have an alliance with, and why is she so special. That's what they're trying to find out in this book. It is like a reluctant allies basically, but neither of them really trust each other. But overall, it's not a bad book. I gave it a 3-star, but I wouldn't categorize this as fantasy. I think this is dark romance with some fantasy sprinkled in there. And that's pretty much how I felt about this book too. This is the extra 7th book that I threw in on my TBR because it is romantasy with a Christmas theme. So I wanted to throw it in at Christmas time, and I did enjoy reading at Christmas time. I will say, that's something that I want to do even more during this year. So if you have any favorite books that are set around a specific like time of the year, please let me know. Not series, just standalone books, or even like the BK Borison when they're like, I think each book is set at a different time of the year. I need to know where the second book is set so I can get it for the appropriate time. I really enjoyed it. I will not read horror for Halloween. I don't read horror, but I wouldn't mind reading more like maybe something like this around Halloween. I should have read that during Halloween time. But if you have anything that's like, this is my favorite book, I love this for this time of the year, please let me know. I would like some recommendations because I did enjoy reading Christmas books around Christmas, and I definitely need to do that more next year. So, A Court of Sugar and Spice by Rebecca F. Kenney. This is a romantasy, but again, this is extremely smut and lust driven, and if you don't like smut, you will not like this one. I actually gave this one a 2-star because I really disliked most of the characters in this book. I thought they were not deep enough, and I actually also didn't like the personality of some of them, where I'm like, I don't care about you. And the plot is very okay. The plot is giving badly written young adult. I'm gonna be honest with you, I didn't love it, and it's so smut and lust driven, and they talk so openly about, like, it's just, I'm not a prude person, and even I was like, it's a little bit too much. I didn't love the plot, I didn't love the characters, and I didn't love how the plot felt juvenile, and then the smut very much did not. I just didn't think it matched, and I don't know, it just wasn't for me. I finished it. I gave it a 2-star because I didn't think it was awful. I mean, I finished it. There was no point in this book where I was like, ugh, I don't want to finish it. I'll finish it. But I didn't love how it came together. It just wasn't, this isn't the kind of book that I am looking for. I thought I was gonna love it, but I didn't. It is the way that it is. A book that I really did enjoy is the fourth and final book in Alexis Calder's Blood and Salt series. This is a finished romantasy series that is 4 parts, and all of them are pretty short. This is probably the thickest one in the series, but they still feel pretty complete. Like, it's fast-paced, it's fun. I gave all of the books a 4-star, including this one. Oh, no, that's not true. The third one I gave a 3-star, because that one I actually felt needed a little bit more meat on the bones. That's how we would say in Sweden. I think you say that as well. There was some parts that was like, I needed more, but I really liked how it all ended up. I liked all the characters. I really enjoyed it. Again, this is fantasy with a romance subplot that is not the main thing. This is very much plot driven. You have fae, you have humans, you have dragon shifters, vampires, all of the things. And the world is loosely, maybe not so loosely, based on Greece and Greek mythology. And a lot of the elements are just coming together. There are gods, there are like the Greek gods are in here as well. It's very interesting. I like the fast pace. I love how it all ended up. I liked it. I thought it was great. It's about a bastard princess that wants to be a warrior and to be sent off to protect the human kingdom against the dragon shifters. And that's the first book, not this one, of course. I can't tell you about this one because I'm going to give it all away. And the queen hates her, of course, because she's a bastard to the king. I mean, I don't blame her. She has 3 sisters, and they are very tight indeed. And then some of the fae come in from a neighboring island, and they have a treaty where they take some humans away. And it's hard for me to explain. A lot of things happen when she meets the fae, and she realizes things are not the way that she's been taught. And a lot of things are maybe not as black and white as she thought, and maybe humans aren't always the ones that are the good guys. So that's how the book starts, and it turns out to be a full-blown war with a lot of alliances and battles, and I enjoyed it. I really do recommend it. If you are looking for a finished fantasy series with a romance subplot that has a fast pace and not too thick, definitely recommend that series. I have not finished it. I thought it was good. Now we have the book that I really thought I was gonna love this one more. And this is Deborah Harkness, A Discovery of Witches. I gave this one a 4-star, but I will say it's a pretty weak 4-star. And it is mainly because I don't love the main characters. And it's thick, but a lot of this book is just describing things that, again, I don't think make sense. Like, the world is ending, but let's talk about wine tasting for 50 pages. My dude. There are things to be done here. I need us to like focus, get on with the plot. So there was a lot of, I thought, problems with pacing in this book. It was really slow sometimes for no reason. I was like, aren't we in a hurry? And then we're just having all this time to do all these mundane things that makes no sense, and we are taking a lot of time doing them. And then sometimes everything is so stressed and things are happening so fast, and I'm like, where was this energy, okay, when we were like almost dying some chapters back. This is about a witch that doesn't want to be a witch. She's at Oxford, she has a PhD, and she meets a vampire through her discovering a what do they call it actually? It's like a book. Yeah, she finds a book, and she realizes there's something weird with the book, but she wants nothing to do with it. And this vampire and her, again, they strike up this reluctant allies. And then the book kind of just fans out to this full-blown conflict between vampires, witches, and demons. And again, I don't hate the plot of it, but I think the pacing is a little bit off. I didn't always love the way that people reacted. I think that the main female is just so, like, could we think for 1 second before we open our mouth or rush into something? Like 1 second. I'm not asking for much here. Just give it 1 second before you open your mouth and say stuff that other people are gonna have to fix for you. I don't love that. But again, I thought the story in itself is really good. But also there is actually, these characters are so prude that there was one point where I put the book down, I took up my phone, and I Googled, is the author Mormon? Because it was giving the same prudeness as Twilight. And if you know, you know, the author of Twilight is Mormon. And I was like, are we in the same area? She's not, though. Maybe I'm not asking for smut, but some of the things that these characters are saying, I was like, again, what century are we in? I'm not fully believing it. It just felt it just felt a little off. And I will say, when they made the TV series, they actually took some of that prudeness off because, again, I think it just made sense because it didn't fit in. It just felt off to me. Again, it doesn't have to be smut. I love a book without smut. I do. Look at me with the Red Rising and Golden Sun series. There's no smut. I freaking love them. But this one just kind of like almost made a point. Again, if you read it, you read it. I liked it. I gave it a 4-star, but I will say it's one of my weaker 4 stars of 2025. I also did have a ranking all the books that I read this year. That video is already live. Of course, some of these books I hadn't read by then. One of them being this piece of shit. What is this? Who said I was going to read this? This is Caraval by Stephanie Garber. I have never in my life been so close to DNFing a book. I hate everything about this book. I hated every second of reading this book. I give this a 1 star. It deserves a 0 star. I hate all the characters. There's a point at the end where, you know, oh my God, we're in peril. I literally said to myself, I hope you all die. Could not care less about any of these people. They're all awful, spoiled brats. I don't care. The language is so repetitive, and when I see people saying what a beautiful language, I'm like, it is so repetitive. How many times can you say the air smelled like crimson revenge or the soil looked like dark vengeance? Like, that is three times a chapter, this entire book. I love a little sprinkle of pretentious. For me, that almost is like, I care about my work enough to be a little pretentious about it. She needs an intervention. I hated the language. I hated the plot. I hated how the characters reacted. I hated the language. Everything about this book was so awful. This is like a 12-year-old wrote a book on how they think 19-year-olds act, talk, and am. It is so juvenile, and it is so infuriatingly like annoying. The two sisters, there's 2 sisters. One of them, 2 sisters, they want to go to Caraval. One of them kind of disappears immediately when they get there, and it turns out that she's part of Caraval, and the other sister has to find her. Listen, that's all you need to know about this plot, because quite honestly, if you like the same books as me, don't read this, okay? It was really not I really dislike this book. The thing is, these 2 sisters, they keep talking about, you're my best friend. I will do anything for you. But there is not a single moment in this book where they are truly being good to each other. They are cruel. They are lying. They are selfish. They're deceiving. The end. Oh my God. If my sister did that, set her on a rocket, send her into space. Absolutely. We would never talk again. I would have, you know what? If I started out with 1 sister, I'd have 0 sisters. Absolutely not. And they just brush over it. I'm like, that is such a deceivable, can you tell? There's nothing about this book that I liked. I didn't like a single person in this book. Everything, awful. I didn't like any of them. I didn't even like the grandmother. Absolutely not. There are more books in the series. I even own Once Upon a Broken Heart by Stephanie Garber, but since I really dislike the way she writes, you're gonna have to let me know, is that the same? Because if so, I'm gonna give that one away to someone else. Because I think, just because I really disliked everything about this book, I really don't think this author is for me. Again, I've never been that close to DNFing a book. I really did not enjoy my time with that book. And yeah, from beginning to end, I truly despised the experience of Caraval, and I'm really sorry. I know there are people who love this book and love this author, and I'm so happy that everybody has different favorites. Like, I'm out here seeing people hating Brimstone, and I thought Brimstone was the best book of 2025. So it's perfectly normal for everyone to have different, you know, what you like, what you connect with, the kind of language you want to read. This was not it for me. So if you are thinking about reading Caraval, I would say listen to a few other reviews as well and see how they describe the book to make sure that you are getting a book that you do not hate. Because I truly will say this is a book that I did not enjoy my time. But I was kind of thinking maybe it gets better. People love this book. But yeah, that was my reading wrap up. And let me know if you want to see anything else about my 2025 books. Do we want to see all the books I gave a 5-star? Do you want to see all my least favorite books of 2025? I'm open for suggestions. I do think the next, I did film a vlog from Sweden as well, but I didn't edit it yet because, like I said, I'm very behind on things, and then we got stuck in Amsterdam airport for 4 days, so it's here. It just isn't edited yet, so that probably will be the next video you see here on my channel. Will probably be the vlog from Sweden. It's gonna be very chill. I'm showing parts of my experience, but I also want to keep the people in my life off the internet, so it's maybe not exactly as my other vlogs, but hopefully you'll enjoy that one too. And if you want to see more book content, don't forget to subscribe, because I do try to upload at least a couple of videos a month here on my channel. Just having a good time with traveling and with books and with my hobbies. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you soon in a new video.